Hi.
Hi. We're going?
Yeah.
Okay. So, on the subject of the aliens, this is what I want to briefly talk about. I've always believed that there were other beings that regularly visit this planet, possibly abduct people, or people have experiences in the dream world that seem to be these type of creatures. I think it actually happens a lot in the dream time. And I've done a lot of research on it over the years, read a lot of books, watched a lot of podcasts about it. And just what I think in a kind of a nutshell is that one, there probably are other physical beings that come from other actual planets that come here. That's certainly in the realm of possibility in my mind. But I think also there's this whole other element that are what people would call etheric or astral entities, or other extra-dimensional entities, or possibly all of the above, that do interact with us for various reasons. And I think one of the main ones that gets overlooked a lot was talked about by the Gnostics, the archons, Archons. And these apparently were beings that were created before humanity. They were a part of the myth, or whatever you want to call it, of the Aeon, or being, goddess, who we called Sophia, who created this world, this planet. And in part of her doing that, there was what is known as an error, where in part of her creating, there was this other type of entity, beings that were created sort of accidentally, because her creation, her coming down into physical form, happened so rapidly that it was like premature. And there was an expulsion of these type of beings that we call the archons. And they're, from what I understand, inorganic beings, which means they're neither plant nor animal. They're something a little different, like maybe mineral or astral or etheric or spirit body only. But that they've existed all along, and they interact with this planet, always have, and they lack the ability to take on a full physical form, but they can mimic, they can come down almost in a holographic projection type form and interact with us and abduct people or torture them or interact with them, most often in the dream world or at night, or mimic these type of quote-unquote abduction experiences. And they have a darkness to them. I don't know if it's envy of human beings and the fact that we are kind of the golden child of the creation of Gaia, Sophia. We're kind of the pinnacle of existence on this planet, apparently. And they envy our soul essence. They wish they could have it, or create it, or be it. And they fuck with people. And I think it's important, too, because Carlos Castaneda talked about them as, I haven't read his works, but I'm going to, but I've kind of read summaries of it. I think he described it, first of all, as the flyers, these, apparent UFOs that we see in the sky that may not be what we think they are, that may not be physical machines, at least part of them anyway, and that he talked about them being the predator. There's a predator that exists alongside humanity and always has. And I read somewhere else, I'm not sure who wrote it, but the theft of souls by night, that to me alludes to this experience that people experience at night or in the dreamscape, because it kind of seems like most of these quote-unquote abductions or astral abductions or whatever happen in the night. It's hidden. It's always hidden. It's always secret. They don't want to be discovered. And there's an agenda there. There's definitely an agenda there, of this whole predatory species that exists alongside humanity. And I think they affect our thought processes and the whole archontic part of humanity, of these demonically driven or possessed people. I think the whole demon thing is probably the archons as well. Archangels, people who are so foolish as to channel these beings are usually, I think, channeling these fuckers who feed off of our darker emotions. For whatever reason, they're mostly negativity driven. They feed off of things like fear and pain and anger and lust and jealousy, but particularly fear. It's like food to them, and they love it. Hence, they do all this scary shit to us. And I would say some people qualify as being archontically possessed, or demonically possessed. And we're seeing more and more of that in the world, and I think it needs to be exposed on a grander scale, what's going on with the soul and spirit of humanity. Why are we having so much, we always have, but more and more war and negativity and this whole control system and the insanity and slavery by the government and this whole upper echelon or upper class of people, of humans, who want to enslave and control and feed off of everybody else. I think it's all wrapped up together. It all goes together. And it's an infection in humanity. And we're seeing people, the whole pedophilia thing that's being exposed now is just another mask on the same face, It's this whole feeding off of negativity and pain and fear. That's what those pedophiles do. That's what rapists do. That's what murderers do. They're feeding off of the fear and pain and negativity that they can create in another human being. And, the religious people will call it demons. Maybe that's a fine word, but words don't mean a whole lot. They're just labels. We're talking about the same thing. We're all talking about and alluding to the same thing. This parasitic, demonic presence in humanity. It's always been here, and it needs to be exposed more and more and more. And it is happening. I mean, it is being exposed. We're seeing more come out about, the whole, all the perverts in Hollywood, all the people feeding off the sexual energy of other people. That's parasitism. And so is the whole pedophilia thing. It's parasitism. It's the parasitic presence on this planet. And it can be changed. I think it can be changed. But we have to not only expose it, we have to stand up to it, and we're going to have to get rid of it. Hopefully we can get rid of it. Hopefully we can, but I think the first step in getting rid of it is coming to grasp as what it is. It is a spiritual problem. It is a spiritual presence or entity that we're talking about. Because we're living on the 3D physical realm, but there's other levels above us. Nothing happens in the physical realm if it's not first happening in the etheric or spiritual realms. It all cascades down. So we have to tackle the source. We have to go beyond just the physical level of exposing all the pedophiles, or all the rapists, or all the murderers, or all the fucking, government who wants to enslave us all. That's the physical 3D level. We have to get to the root of it, the spiritual presence of it, and expose it. And I think my rant is over.
Bye.
Bye.